Euro Dance is back, baby, and it's back big time. Thank you, Calvin Harris, for bringing it back. Today, I want to show you how Calvin Harris makes this Euro Dance sound. So let's have a look how we can do this. I'm gonna go to my sample folder, which is filled with samples, and we're gonna be looking for kicks. And of course, we're gonna choose the trancey one. We're looking for something that is close to the original, which sounds like this. Actually, this sounds pretty close. Let's use this one. Let's leave it like this. It's just missing that click, so I'm gonna keep looking, and this sounds like a nice one, actually. So this is going to be our click. I'm just gonna get rid of this whole thing, align those waves a little, and here we go. So this is our kick now. Let's join this as one sample, Command J. So now we have our kick. Let's insert the MIDI track. If you double click here, it says drop instrument or sample here. That's where we're gonna drop the kick, and the kick is right here. Let's add some percussion to it. What is happening in Calvin Harris track? We're hearing a 909 hi-hat, then we're hearing some short hats, maybe some tambourines. In the beginning, there's a nice crash sound to it as well, and there's this big snare. It's sort of like old school Ferry Corsten. Remember this one? Something like that. And let's look for a nice open cymbal. Let's create a MIDI, one bar, and choose the 8 grid and just duplicate this several times. Sort of different sound, so maybe it's not the right one right now, but let's look more. This one's very close. Seems like the same one. Let's give it a little bit more shine, EQ, and then just see here, we have the big harmonic frequency, and here we go. Let's get rid of the low end. Let's have a listen how they sound all together. I'm still missing a little bit of punch on the kick. We can see that there's a significant punch here at around 150. So that's what we're gonna do with our kick, and just add a little bit more punch. Let's have a listen again. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell button so you won't miss any future uploads. Now let's add a short hat. 909 core kit short hat. Let's add it in. 1/16th grid here. Duplicate it several times. We want to sidechain it a little bit. Compressor. Love these settings. And input from the kick. That's all we need. EQ as well on this hat, just to take away the frequencies we don't like. Autopan over here, and making this go a little bit more left and right on about 1/8, so it feels a little bit more stereo. It could be a little bit longer. And I don't see any tambourines here. We're gonna add just a little bit of tambourine. Here we go. Actually, this last one seems really nice. Create a MIDI track, copy this MIDI. I'm gonna put this tambourine on top of that. Of course, we need to put it to the right key. I'm gonna go for C3. Just gonna copy these few things and the sidechain. And of course, I want this to be opposite way, offset it a little bit, you know, so it's not the same all the time. One is left, one is right. Maybe this is a little bit too loud. Still. Okay, let's compare. Definitely these two need to be way lower. This could be a little bit longer, but I can't make it longer because it's a sample and I don't want to warp it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little bit of delay on top to make it feel like it's a little bit longer. So 3/4 is great, and feedback 25, perfect. What else is happening there? We're hearing the crash in the beginning. Of course, that would be one of these. And that's the one we're looking for. I want this one to play only in this bar, so I'm just gonna duplicate it and take it away from here. If you wanna see how the full Eurodance track in Calvin Harris style is made, make sure to join me live on readyformasterclass.com on 30th of September. If you're watching this after, check out the website and sign up for this masterclass. Then we need the snare. This one actually sounds pretty cool. That might be a good one. Let's make it long. What we want is to make it a little bit more, you know, tuned down. Something about this. A bit more snappy. A little bit longer. Nice. Let's put an EQ on top. Let's get rid of the low end. And push those mids a little bit. Let's take these percussions. Let's duplicate this. Remove everything from here. And over here, I'm just gonna use it. And now we're just gonna make this louder. See how it sounds. Our snare still needs a little bit more high end and maybe tuned up a little. Nice. Let's do something about that sharp attack of that snare, because it's really, really strong. So what we can do is to decrease this down and also decrease the release. So it doesn't interfere with our kick, but it still pushes through. Let's tune it down a little. Okay, this is great. Let's just turn the volume up. Let's increase the release a little. And there is the tail is a little bit shorter, so maybe we just need to decrease this tone. Nice, let's have a listen now. Don't forget, this is not about making exact copy, but show you how Calvin Harris does the Euro Trance sound these days. And maybe we can saturate it a little bit with a multiband compressor. So let's take a multiband compressor, multiband dynamics, and I would say the multiband gate would be a good choice. And let's increase the highs. Okay, now I'm happy. This was a little bit too complicated. We have now all the percussion that we needed. And now let's do the most significant part. Let's do the bass. So for the bass line, I'm gonna be using Serum. Let's enter the MIDI track. Let's add Serum in. You don't need to make the same one. Just try to make a nice one. And you know, what sounds good is good. So of course, we can just keep the shape as is now. Gonna need one voice, no detune, no randomness. That's gonna be our start. Let's just draw in the bass line. There we go. Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. Assign the filter to oscillator A. I'm gonna go with low 18 and assign the envelope to it to about 24 Hertz. Getting somewhere, but first we need to work with this. Let's remove that resonance and increase the drive a little. I would open it a little bit more so we have a little bit more click. Maybe add one more just to add a tiny little bit more of that mid click here and like super short. A bit less. And now let's just increase that release a little. Okay, beautiful. Now we also need to work with the envelope 1. So let's just turn this down to about this much. It's very loud, so I'm gonna put it down. And you can hear that we're still not there. So I like to use something which is called FM bass, which basically means frequency modulation, and you can use a different wave to modulate the wave that you have. So on the oscillator B, I'm gonna choose my basic shapes here, and this feels right. Let's turn it 2 octaves down, turn off the volume completely, and over here I'm just gonna choose FM from B, and then just raise the level until I'm happy. Of course I need to decrease the randomness all the way down. So let's move the phase. Okay, this feels nice. We are in the wrong key, so let's put it down from A to G. So let's work with it FM and try a little bit more. But I'm still not happy about this shape. Let's try the next one and let's move the phase again a little. We need to move the phase 1 as well. Let's play around. That's nice. actually pretty happy about this. Now, we're still missing a sub bass. I'm just gonna add the sub here, -2, and direct out. That's all I want. And I can add it in and back if I want to have, like, you know, intro bass without the sub and then with the sub. But let's go to the FX sections. For sure, I'm gonna need some distortion because it's an old school bass. I'm just gonna add a little bit of tube distortion here. A compressor. Just as is, I don't need to even touch it. Just leave it as is. Now let's play with the EQ. And I'm gonna just boost tiny little bit here at around 90 Hertz. And of course we wanna move the high end a little bit higher. And this time we're gonna use this. To finish it off, we're gonna add another filter. And again, I'm gonna go with low 18. Let's pull it down. Now we can't hear anything, of course. So let's just first find a sweet spot. And I would like to use this envelope again. And just like a little bit. Still missing that click though. That's a little bit better. And we can now do so many things with this. So let's just play around with those LFOs to get a little bit more click. And now on this one. We have to fix the kick a little bit. I think I added this a little bit too much. Okay. Sidechain. I'm gonna be using the LFO tool. You can use whichever program you like, Kickstart, Shaper Box, but I like to use LFO tool. I just like how it looks and how it sounds. It's actually a neat bass, but I think we can get away with some more sound out of it. Let's have a look if we can just put it louder. And see, I don't like this shape. If you look at his shape, it's like a little bit more down, steep. So we're gonna pull this down. Not so much. Add a little bit of release. And I think it's a little bit too open, so let's just pull this down again. By the way, if you would like to dive deeper into music production, check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReOrderDJ. I'm regularly posting stuff in there showing how I do my tracks, how I work with my students, and of course, very special videos. And also, I'm giving you one direct feedback every month as a part of the membership. Send me your tracks and I will let you know what to do to make them sound better. But now let's go back and make some nice pluck for this track. Let's go with Serum again. And we want something like, you know, simple melody. So how about this? Just hit this beautiful button. It's gonna bring in what I just played. So for this pluck, I'm gonna choose something crazy and I'm gonna go for digital. I can sing kick. Let's put a wavetable to somewhere here. Let's put a unison up to like 4 voices, detune it a little bit less. Let's put MG low 24, pull this all the way down. A little bit too loud. And then let's just add some effects to it. For sure, I'm gonna be using delay, 1418 dot, and let's just pull this down here. Heaps of feedback, and let's add some reverb. The whole one will do just fine. Some low cut, less high cut, some nice mix, and a lot of decay. Now let's play with the filter. And I want it to sound a little bit more analog. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna assign LFO1 to the phase and make it super long. Now on the oscillator 2, I'm gonna add that one as well. Add 2 voices, a little bit of detune, and just put it down to -1 as well. So we beef up the sound. Yeah, this is much better. Now I would just compress it a little bit. I want this pluck to cut through the mix a little bit better, so increase it down. Ratio could be 2:1 is just fine. Shorter release, of course. Let's increase the ratio, let's see what's gonna happen. And let's bring up the threshold. I think this is just fine. Let's have a listen. Sounds very old schoolish, I love it. For this, we just need to EQ the low end. Let's add it in. And of course, we're gonna need the sidechain and just bring in the sidechain 1 preset. Nice. And to beef up the sound of the Pluck so it feels a little bit nicer, I like to use multiband compression from Multiband Dynamics just as is, and let's go with 50%. Actually, we can take that crash and put it a little bit louder. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was educational. Please let me know in the comments what would you like to learn in the future. And don't forget to join me for the live masterclass where I'll show you everything there is about Euro Trance. And that's really it. Before you go, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. Thank you, guys. Ciao.